Hello. As you can see, I'm still wearing the same thing. I'm continuing on. I just feel like while I am just flowing with the talking, I will just keep doing it and we'll see what happens. So, I never really had a boyfriend, was never really interested. Pretended I had crushes on people just so that I fit in. When I was 14, I started drinking a lot of alcohol. That's what you did back then. It was easy to get it, and it's what you did as a teenager. And we didn't have the best home life, so myself and my siblings kind of wanted to numb ourselves and block out the world. And I remember when I was 14, I was drunk at a party and I was just swinging on the swing because it was in a hall in a park, and like little halls that you hire out to have parties, etc., functions. It was in one of those, and so I was just swinging on the swing. I was drunk, and this boy came up and was swinging on the other swing, and then I remember we kissed, and I don't even remember it, to be honest. But then I remember he started hanging around, coming around to see me and stuff, and I didn't want anything with this boy, and I felt so mean. I basically told him to go away and leave me alone. I just to be honest, I just didn't want really anything to do with boys. As I said, I felt scared of them. I had a couple of male friends that were my really good friends that I loved heaps, and I got along well with them. But I just had no interest in, being boyfriend and girlfriend, etc. And I had zero interest in being S-U-L, and hopefully I can say it like that. And when I was 15, my really good friend met a boy at a party. Really liked him. We didn't have mobile phones back then. I just got cut off because an alarm went off. So now I don't know what this is going to be like. I really don't want to get on the computer and edit, but I may have to. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to just look back at what I've already recorded. Anyway, my really good friend wanted me to go to the phone with her, the payphone, and ring this boy, and we did. And he gave her his address and wanted us to come over, and we went over and hung out. He lived a few suburbs away, so he didn't go to our school or anything like that. And we started going over there quite a lot, her and me, and sometimes another one of our friends. And I remember his mum was quite, one of the cool mums, as you would say, and he had an older brother that was quite a bit older than him, and it was just a cool place to go and hang out. And I really liked him. He was a really good friend, I thought. And he lived in a little cul-de-sac, and 2 doors up from him lived this boy named, I'm just going to call him D1. You'll know why shortly. And he liked me, wanted to go out, so I went out with him. I always felt very intimidated by him and very frightened of him, to be honest. Deep down, I just wasn't sure. But I really liked him too. I thought I did. I thought I loved him. And his home life wasn't the greatest, and I think that had a bit of an influence on him and how he treated me and how he spoke to me. And he pressured me quite a lot to have S, and I didn't want to. I was 15, he was 14. He was about 10 months younger than me. but I was close to 16. I was about 15 and a half, and we were going out for about 6 months, and he pressured me quite a bit, and I just kept saying no, I didn't want to, and he broke up with me, and I was pretty upset and pretty hurt, and you know, you just get on with life. And at the time I was working at McDonald's. I turned 16 by this point, and this guy used to come in a lot. This is D2, and he wanted to go out. He was 2 years older than me, so he was 18 and I was 16, and I knew of him because he was in my sister's year at school, and you just knew of our years in school. Like, there was like my year, the next year up, and then my sister's year, and everybody kind of knew everybody, and we all sort of hung out in the same places in big groups and stuff like that. Sorry, my arms are hurting. So I knew of him, I just didn't know him that well, but the same thing, I always felt intimidated, uncomfortable, not sure. I just never knew how males were going to act because of what I'd grown up seeing and experienced, etc. And we were only going out for a few months, and in that time, same thing, he wanted S. I told him that I was a V. I'm just trying not to say certain words on here. And I intended to stay that way. And when I was ready for anything, I would let him know. And we only went out for a few months, and he broke up with me. And I thought I was not in love, but I thought I really loved him. And I was really hurt. And once again, felt like I wasn't loved back the way that I loved. And wasn't sure I was loved at all, to be honest. And we hung out with the same people, and I used to go to the club every Friday night. That was the thing. Go to the club for the, disco, and you dance and hang out, drink, whatever. And I used to do it a lot. And as I said, I was drinking a lot back then, trying to cope. And he used to drive people home and give them lifts because he didn't drink alcohol. I'm trying not to say too much, but he was into fitness, I'll just say that, and didn't want alcohol, didn't want to drink, so he didn't. And he would give a lot of people lifts home. He had like a Land Rover car or something like that, so everyone could pile in the back, give people lifts home, etc. And one night I was at the club. I was very drunk. He knew I was very drunk, and he took me back to his place, and things happened that I didn't want to happen. I didn't know what was happening. I was not in control of myself at all, and he knew I wasn't, and he took advantage of that. I was not capable of making a rational decision, and I don't really remember what happened. I kind of have a little bit of a foggy memory, but not really. And I just knew the next day, because as a girl, when it's your first time, that's all I'm going to say. And he basically had nothing to do with me after that. And at the time, I was still friends with the friend that I met my ex-D through, and I used to still go there and hang out and stuff, and I was actually friends with my ex-D's sister, and so yeah, I still spoke to him and saw him and stuff, and we were still kind of friends. And one night I just talked to him about stuff because I had to tell someone, I had to get it out, and he acted like, he was kind and understanding and loved me and wanted to get back together, etc. And so I did, and pretty much straight away he started pressuring me to go further than I wanted to. And no matter how many times I said I didn't want to and said no, it just didn't matter. He just kept pressuring. And then one time he pushed me further than he should have, and I froze. I couldn't respond. I feel like I dissociated, and it happened a few more times after that. And the same thing, I didn't want to. I froze. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't do anything. And yeah, it happened a few times. And then there was one time, I'm going to say this very quickly to end this one. He wanted